Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Don't Forget to Rock. I'm very excited to be here with my guest, Tyler Morris. Hi, Tyler.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming. I'm really excited to talk to you. I have a lot of questions I want to ask you. First of all, I know you just went to the Bon Jovi concert yesterday, and I saw some photos of you backstage with Phil X.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
Yeah, that's great. Phil's a good friend of mine for going back like maybe 5 years now. And you know, whenever they come, I missed them when they came to TD Garden, but whenever they come to town, it's always good to catch up with him and stuff. But they put on a great show. I've seen them maybe 3-4 times now, and it was probably the best show I've ever seen. Just by John's vocals and everything was just spot on.
Awesome. I know you've played with so many legendary performers. Have you met John Bon Jovi before? Or?
John, I did like only in passing. I've never had a conversation with him. But Phil is just a good buddy. So it's always like hectic when backstage they all have their own kind of areas and their own tech stations underneath the stage.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about your second album, Next in Line. So it's a kind of a mixture of blues rock and classic rock, which I really love. And you worked with Grammy Award-winning producer as well, Paul Nelson. What was that experience like?
That was great. Paul worked on all of Johnny Winter's records for over the last 20 years, and his last album that, as you mentioned, won a Grammy, had Joe Perry, Buddy Guy, and all these legends on it. So that was a great experience. We did it much like you would record a record in the 70s, where you have one day of practice, you have another day of the rhythm section records, and another day of leads, and then the last day is just reserved for any harmonies and any like backgrounds you want to do. So that was a great experience. We got Joe Louis Walker on the record, who's just a blues legend. And we got Scott Spray from the Johnny Winter Band. We also got Tiger McNeil from Jose Felicianos, and then we have the Uptown Horns, and we also have the keyboard player from Vinnie Moore's band as well.
That's
the
amazing.
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
So that kind of explains why it has that 70s authentic feel to it.
And I wrote for all the instruments, including the vocals and all the melodies, as I always do. And I was kind of, at the time I was writing, I was listening to a lot of the early Aerosmith stuff, Bad Company, that kind of like 70s British sound, and some Peter Green, Fleetwood Mac stuff. So it's kind of that blues rock influence. But to me, I feel like all rock records are really blues influenced. So it just goes hand in hand, and it wasn't something that I really thought about.
Well, I think it's a solid album. It's really hard to choose a favorite from it. And speaking of Aerosmith, I saw they shared your cover of their song. Was it Last Child or?
That was Last Child, and I did a multicam thing where I did the rhythm part at the same time that I did the lead part.
That must have been really exciting to see that they shared it.
That was great. And then actually a few days later, the guys were back in town, or at least Joe and Brad and Tom were. Tom's always here. So I went to the Joe Perry show, and I made a pedal for Brad Whitford. I make effects pedals as well. So I made him a custom pedal. He was in town, and I had it ready.
That's awesome. Yeah, I saw you also made one for Conan O'Brien.
Yeah, Conan,
I saw the picture.
and actually Phil too.
Oh, that's awesome. Like, how long have you been making those?
I've been making it for about the pedals for about 2 years. The ones I gave to those guys are treble boosters, and in the middle they have a Clapton sound, and on the bottom it's Santana and then Brian May. And all those guys are kind of known for using specific types of boosters, so I kind of coupled them all their sounds into one pedal.
Oh, that sounds awesome. Are you going to use one of those today for your performance?
Today I'm doing more of a kind of like relaxed thing since the band's not here.
Right.
So no pedals, just like
Okay.
straight into the amp. But in my band setup, I use a lot of different pedals that I make, in different switchers that I make, as well as a siren too.
Right. Oh, very cool. And what's your dream guitar, if you have one?
Well, currently what I use is I use a lot of custom Dean models they made for me. They're kind of modeled after the single cut Les Pauls and stuff. But I do use some Strats occasionally, some Les Pauls, and today I'm gonna play. There's this new parlor size guitar from this company B&G that I got recently. So I'm gonna play some like more relaxed stuff with that.
Very cool. Excited for that. And so some of the people you performed with are Yngwie Malmsteen, Sammy Hagar,
Yep.
Phil Collin from Def Leppard. Performing with them, is there anything you've taken away from them, or have they given you any advice that you kind of have carried into your performing?
Well, it's instead of performance, more it's always kind of related to songwriting. And there's that. I mean, there's a business aspect where I hear a lot from these guys that you gotta make sure you have your own publishing, and I always hear a lot from that aspect. And then there's the aspect where I hear that you gotta keep writing, and the more you write, the better the result is. And I heard that from the most recent guy was this was like maybe a month ago. I was at the Jimmy Vaughn show with my friend Jimmy Vivino from Conan O'Brien, of course, the leader of the band, and Steve Miller was there from Steve Miller Band, and he said the same thing. He said, you gotta write all your songs. You know, they told me I wasn't gonna have a hit after 35, and then he had like Abracadabra. And, he said he just wrote that to like kind of fool them, but everyone tells me you just gotta keep writing, and I mean, I write all the time. I got this is my third record, and I got probably hundreds of different ideas for the next record. I'll just whittle them down to maybe 10 or 15 that I'm feeling at that moment. That's
really good advice. To keep writing, and never know what can come from a song.
Oh yeah.
Talking about some of your influences, I know you started playing guitar around age 10, or that's when you started taking it seriously?
Yeah, I would say around like age 12.
Okay.
I really started to take it seriously.
Yeah, and what were some of the first songs that you learned on guitar?
I mean, the first, actually the first two were Secret Agent Man, and then it was Smoke on the Water. Most people learn Smoke on the Water first. They usually learn it wrong though. As I learned once I studied Blackmore, but it's everyone tends to play most of the full chord, and it's really just part of the chord, and it's complicated because it has the thumb in the bass. But that was the first song I really learned.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn guitar. Someone was trying to teach me that song. I probably wasn't playing it right. But it's fun. It's a fun song.
It's a cool stylistic thing that Hendrix and Ritchie Blackmore have. But yeah, I was into growing up. I would go the first show I think I went to was Aerosmith, and I went to seen them about like 30-something times. And so I was growing up around that, and like AC/DC, and then I got into more like Van Halen, Def Leppard, those kind of bands, Queen, and Journey. And then I kind of, I went back to the blues and the Aerosmith, and now it's kind of, I'm influenced by all of these things combined. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it definitely shows in the album. And yeah, as you can tell, I'm a big Queen fan with the Freddie poster back there.
Yeah, I've seen them with Adam like 3 times.
Oh yeah, I saw them with Adam Lambert too. I mean, you can't replace Freddie, but I think he does a good job,
Yeah.
He has good stage presence.
Yeah, it's like a similar thing to with Journey.
Right, yeah. Can't replace Steve Perry.
Yeah.
Before we finish, is there anything else that you want to tell your fans or promote?
So all of we got a lot of summer tour dates. We got Bob Margolin from the Giant Winter Band coming in June. There's a bunch of new videos up, and all of this can be found on my social media, on my Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter. But if you need help finding all of those links, go to www.tylerdmorris.com. That encompasses all of those links, as well as my YouTube channel.
Yeah. And don't forget to check out his album Next in Line.
And actually, as of last week, we got the vinyl, which was back ordered for a few months. It's in red vinyl. And,
that's really cool.
And that's almost sold out now. But that's on my Facebook page. There's links, and there's links on my website.
Very
as well.
cool. Definitely check that out. Well, thank you, Tyler.
No problem.
It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah.